Panipus.
I think it's supposed to be panpipes, you fool.
Welcome to Hey, did you ever see that movie? I'm your host, Des. And as always, I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Lynn.
I'm flying.
Okay. And joining us again, the podcaster with 1,000 potions, Mickey.
Hello, my pretties.
Okay. And this week we will be discussing the 1996 teen witchcraft movie, The Craft, directed by Andrew Fleming, written by Peter Filardy, starring Fairuza Balk, Rachel True, Neve Campbell, and Robin Tunney as Tunney as at least I didn't say Veruca Salt, which I've been calling her all day. As always, this movie will contain spoilers, so if you haven't seen it, go watch it, then come back and listen to the podcast. And now it's time for another installment of Disaster Piece Theater. So sit back and enjoy the show. Welcome to Disaster Piece Theater, where me and my two co-hosts will act out one scene from the movie that we are reviewing for you this evening. So please, sit back, grab some popcorn, and enjoy the show.
Quiet on the set!
Camera speed.
Sound production, take one.
There you are, my pretty. We've been looking everywhere for you, and your little dog, too. Are you okay?
I'm fine.
We heard the police came to your house. They came to mine, too.
Yeah, well, I didn't tell him anything.
Then why do you want to leave the circle of flying monkeys?
I didn't say.
You don't need to say it. You're thinking it.
Look, Nancy, people are dead, okay? Chris and Ray.
Those were accidents.
They deserved it, though.
Says who?
Says me, and you know it's true.
Fine.
Fine. That's fine. We don't really need a fourth, do we, girls?
No.
Oh, but if you're going to leave the circle, you might have to leave the school as well.
Or maybe the city, too. We're not so sure.
And please don't do any more spells on me.
I didn't.
You know, in the old days, if a witch betrayed her coven, they'd drop a fucking house on her.
Cut!
That's a wrap for sure. Oh, okay. Now it is time for Des's 4-in-1 Fake Facts, where it will be up to my co-host to decide which fact is total bullshit. Fact number 1. Peter Filardy originally wanted this movie to be set with 3 older women that worked in a bookstore called Panipus.
I think it's supposed to be panpipes, you fool.
Panpipe's Magical Marketplace, based on a real store in Hollywood, but director Andrew Fleming insisted the movie take place in a high school setting. Number 2, the movie got an R rating even after meeting all guidelines for a PG rating, solely because it had teenage girls using witchcraft. Number 3, there were plans to release a direct-to-DVD sequel focusing on Fairuza Balk, but it was dropped for unknown reasons. Number 4, Andrew Fleming publicly said he wrote a pilot called How Soon Is Now based on this movie for Fox. The WB was also interested, but neither picked it up. The following year, Charmed premiered. Andrew said it was an obvious ripoff of his pilot. And number 5, Angelina Jolie and Alicia Silverstone were both considered for the role of Sarah Bailey. Mickey, which of these 5 facts do you think is total bullshit?
The last one.
Okay, and Dylan, which do you think is total bullshit?
I was gonna go with the last one, but let's go number 2.
And once again, I have, in fact, stumped the panel. And I can't believe you guys, I mean, with me coming up with a pinnipipis or whatever the fuck I called it.
Panpipes.
Panpipes. Yeah, that's the fake one. Yeah.
That's fake?
So
Where did you
fake.
come up with panpipes?
Because Fairuza Balk, she actually bought a store called Panpipes Magical Marketplace out in Hollywood to do whatever for this movie, so she could really dive into the part. So she actually bought it. It's a real magical marketplace in Hollywood.
I was like, there's no way you came up with panpipes.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a real place, so it makes it a little truth. Yeah, so there's that.
Tricky.
Yes, so once again, I have stumped the panel. With a budget of $15 million and a box office gross of $55 million, this movie was a smash hit, even though it was not met with high marks from the reviewers. But it was a hit, and it did sell a lot of tickets. I am surprised that this one didn't warrant a sequel. How about you guys?
Oh, absolutely. I would have gone to see it. If there was The Craft 2, I would have gone to see it.
I'm surprised I never saw this. And you guys both obviously have seen this movie before.
Yes.
Okay. Has it been a while?
Yes.
Yes, actually. When it first came out, I saw it at the theater a couple of times. And then I think at one point I owned it for a while. I don't own it anymore, though.
Yeah, I've never seen it, and I didn't have high hopes, to be honest with you. It's not really in my wheelhouse, but we'll get into it. Dylan, do you want to give us the synopsis?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Newcomer to a Catholic prep high school falls in with a trio of outcast teenage girls who practice witchcraft, and they all soon conjure up various spells and curses against those who anger them. Dun, dun, dun.
All right. That's pretty basic.
Yeah, right to the point.
Any opening thoughts on this, you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I loved this movie when it came out in the 90s. This was like right in my wheelhouse in my goth days. So like this was right up my alley. It was like it was speaking to me. I loved it. I
really enjoyed it too when it came out. I watching it this time, I
didn't
think
age so well.
Yeah, it really didn't. And I didn't realize how much Fairuza overacted in some parts.
Oh yeah, completely.
I couldn't disagree more.
I will. I will say that I love the music, and I have to say that the Love Spit Love cover of How Soon Is Now I actually love more than the original.
Yeah, actually, it's funny. One of my notes in my paperwork here is how cool the opening is and how much I like the musical choices, so much so that I actually owned the soundtrack at one point.
Yes.
So yeah, I had this CD.
Yep.
Back when we had CDs, I had the CD of the soundtrack because I loved the soundtrack. Thought it was great.
Me too.
The soundtrack was fucking great. It totally slapped. I loved the soundtrack to this movie.
It was really good. It was really good. And Richard Butler to me is just so good, and I'll listen to anything that he does. So I was so excited when they actually used that for this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was totally kick ass. And it's funny, Dylan's always I've always thought she looked a little bit like Fairuza Salt. She's got like all the teeth. Like she's got like way too many teeth, just like Fairuza, whatever her name is.
Fairuza Salt.
Fairuza Salt. And I've actually got some pictures of Dylan back in her goth days where she actually is like looking like Nancy. So yeah, I was kind of falling in love with Nancy during this one all over again. I was like, damn, yeah. Out of the 4 witches, I mean, if I was in high school, that's the one I would have been immediately, attracted to.
The one that was the most trouble. So yes, that is perfectly on brand.
I just loved her look. And it was funny because I was actually saying she kind of reminded me a little bit of Willem Dafoe last week in Streets of Fire, like pasty white, like menacing grin, dressed in patent leather. I'm like, okay, here we go.
I also also really thought that I think Neve Campbell is adorable. There's something about Neve Campbell that I think is charming.
I agree.
She's also very wholesome, which is funny because, you know,
Yes.
even in this movie, she gets the wholesome role, and she was wholesome in Scream, even though it's Scream.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know?
Yep,
Yeah.
agreed. Yeah, there's something about her that just I really like.
Was she
You
in
know-
that show that was like a bunch of family, like a churchy family? Was she in one of those shows?
I feel like she was. It was
Or like
something
Party
with
of
Jessica-
5 or something like that?
Was it the one with
Jesus.
Jessica Biel? I didn't watch those shows.
No,
but there
neither
was
did I. I'm just wondering
there
if
was like
that's
a
where the
whole, like,
wholesome thing comes from.
yeah, there was like a whole like clan of those shows. It was like
Mhm.
Dawson's Creek, and like then there was like what's the one with Jessica Biel and
That's the church family one, like Party of 12 or Party of 5. I don't even know. I confused them all.
Her character in this movie.
Oh, you know what it was? I think My So-Called Life.
No, she wasn't in that.
No?
That was the redhead. Oh God, now that's gonna kill me. It's where Jared Leto came from. He was Jordan Catalano.
Oh, okay.
When this movie started off, Neve Campbell was looking exactly like the character
From 16 Candles.
No, from Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, sorry. Thank you.
I mean, she was like, they had her dressed just like her. She was like acting weird like that, writing in the book and like just being bizarre in the hallway. And this like faded like immediately. Like I'm talking even before like the scars went away and everything. Like it was only like one scene where she's that character, and then immediately she just becomes just normal,
Well,
basically.
I think what they were trying to do, and we can obviously get into this later on, but I think they were trying to show like the self-confidence that she gains from having the sisterhood.
Right.
Yeah. No,
and also with the fourth, all of a sudden they're all feeling more powerful.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. No, I got that, but it was just weird that it was just the one scene, like the one beginning opening scene. We get that character. Though I'm just talking about the way she looked.
Right.
Mhm.
The way she dressed and everything. And then like the next scene, she's still got the scars and everything, but she's just looking better. So I don't know. All right, well, let's get into it.
All right. Sarah Bailey, played by Robin Tunney, is a troubled teenage girl who has previously attempted suicide. She's just moved from San Francisco to Los Angeles with her father and stepmother. She enrolls in a local Catholic high school but has trouble fitting in. During French class, her classmate Bonnie, played by Neve Campbell, witnesses Sarah telekinetically causing a pencil to rotate while standing on its tip. And honestly, I thought this was a pretty cool opening between the chanting with the three girls initially, and then, you meet not Robin, you meet Sarah. And I just thought that was cool because it's like, it was probably something Sarah did and didn't even think about it. You know, she probably did that all the time. And for Bonnie to notice it and be like, oh, that's it. That's the one,
She's the fourth. Right. Yep.
So the movie opens up and Sarah comes into the house with her father.
Yes.
And her stepmother.
Mhm.
And it's raining in the house. I get the impression throughout this movie that Sarah was very powerful. Like untapped witch power.
Yes.
That like far beyond even what she knows. And I think, was she making it rain because she was feeling down? I mean, it seemed like she was controlling the weather a lot.
Yeah, interesting too, as they're pulling up the driveway, there's that gigantic snake. And it's like, that's not just a snake that's hanging out in your yard in LA.
No.
That is a gigantic, it was like a boa constrictor. The thing was freaking huge, like a python.
Yeah.
So.
And the weird guy comes in with the snake and he's like, relax, relax. And the father like chases him like 2 steps. First of all, no, I'm chasing that guy all the way down so I can figure out what the fuck he's doing there. Like, it's not going to be like, all right, well, all right, yeah, you okay? Like, I didn't get that really.
Well, maybe they thought he was like squatting in the house because it was empty. I'm not really sure. That was such a cool, I mean, you didn't see much of the house, but like I loved her room with those French doors and like it was a cool looking house.
Yes.
I wish they had elaborated a little bit. I wish I could have seen the whole house because I love shit like that. But
I mean, as we, I have to say this because I noticed it very succinctly. There's a dining room that she runs into at one point, and it's in a scene where there's vermin all around, and she looks up at the ceiling, and the ceiling is a glass, like like a stained glass ceiling. And I'm
Oh,
like,
wow.
like during the day, that must be freaking gorgeous. Like, yes,
Yeah.
please. Like I was like, that's pretty cool.
It was
Yeah,
such a
that's-
cool looking house, and I just wish, and also like what Des was saying, like with the rain, like the roof was. I wish they had elaborated, like, why did it matter that the house had a leaky roof, and why did it, like, they didn't really explain why the house was in such disrepair. Like, did they get it at a bargain? Like, they didn't really explain why they moved. Like, I don't
Right.
know, maybe I missed it, but like I didn't really.
I didn't hear it.
I didn't know
No.
why that was so pointed out so much at the beginning.
Yeah, and he makes a point of saying, well, it's big, like it's a big house, and it needed an interior paint job badly. It was a very cool looking house, but it needed some paint.
Well, it kind of looked like it had like a raw plaster, like a Mexican Adobe look, even on the inside.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
yes, I'm a fan of a movie that gives me the cool house, like
Yes.
Practical Magic, and
Oh.
you show me that staircase in Practical Magic, and that the garden, not the garden, the greenhouse and the kitchen, and just I literally could eat that house up. I love it so much.
I'm the
So I want,
same
like, I
way.
agree. I wanted to see more of this house because it was cool looking.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So next we're going to be in the classroom and we're going to meet Chris and we're going to get this fucking actor from fucking
Scream.
Clueless. This kid with
He
the
was in
long hair. I
Scream.
fucking hate this kid, man.
Breckenmeyer.
Oh, I can't stand him either.
Jesus Christ. Nothing cheapens a movie than putting this fucking idiot in it, okay? So what I noticed about this movie,
Breckenmeyer, what did he do to you?
I just don't like him. Damn, let's skateboard and smoke some fucking weed. It's like, fucking shut up. So what I did notice about this movie, okay, so the female actors were prime time. These girls were ready for the big screen. The male actors were WB. These kids were not holding their own, any of the boys. And it was obvious. It was lopsided acting. It's like when the boys are on the screen, I'm thinking I'm watching, a half hour, 1 hour movie, TV show that's on every week on WB. And when the girls are on screen, I'm like, they're fucking killing it. And this is a great movie. It was a little unbalanced.
And Skeet Ulrich is so annoying. Like, he was like douche central in this movie. Like,
Yeah. Super douche.
And I
That
know
is-
that was the point, but like,
Yeah, I mean, he's doing a good job because that's what I got.
he
But
was a douche in Scream too.
oh yeah, but different because okay, so they're not allowing any of these male characters to have any character arc at all. Nothing. And Chris is like so we'll get into it. I feel like he wasn't a bad guy. He wasn't a bad guy. He was just a fucking high school kid. That's what he was. He was a high school kid, and some of the writing doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, he comes on to Sarah. She nibbles, she bites, she goes and watches them at football practice. They have their date, and it's a nice date, and things are going well. And then he says, come home and let's do it. And she was like, maybe not on the first date, but things are going well. They're kissing, they're having a nice time. She's getting along with his friends. Like, I don't understand why this now leads to him being like, I fucked her and she's a shitty lay, fuck her. It's like, you're not putting in any work, dude. It's like maybe another 48 hours.
Well, I mean, that is the life of a high school football star.
No.
Yes, yes, honey, you never were a high school football star. You don't know.
Not after half a date. I mean, it's not like she shut him down 10 times. She was just like, let's go out.
She said no. She rejected him.
Yep.
And to a guy with an ego that big, he's going to slam her. He
expected her to roll over for him.
Right.
But
like every other girl.
She didn't really say no. She just said not right now.
Doesn't matter to him.
It was a good, but I just
Dude,
didn't get it.
This is how some guys are.
I don't know.
That's how some guys are.
Even like even a high school football player. I mean, you got to put in a little work. I mean, you're talking like 1, 2 dates, 3 dates,
but I think they wanted you to get the impression that, I don't even remember his name in the movie. What was his name?
Chris.
Yeah, he's Chris. Whatever, Joe Schmo. Like, I'm used to having girls just fall at my feet and pull their pants down. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's just used to every girl just, dropping like a fly and being like, woo, I love you. You know what I mean? Let's do it and whatever. And he's got that ego. And so when she says, no, I'm not. I don't really want to.
I'm not ready.
I'm not ready. And he immediately takes that as, well, fuck her because she doesn't know what she's missing. And I'm the shit and you're a piece of garbage. So I'm going to tell everyone that you're a lousy lay because you didn't say yes to me.
So again, I know I'm jumping ahead, but what I didn't understand, I understood him doing that. No problem. What I didn't understand is why she still liked him afterwards.
Because he seemed like a nice guy. I mean, they wrote him like he was a little bit like he wasn't like his other two dippest fucking buddies. Like he's got the little flower. He's like, I want to apologize for my buddies. He's like, he seems very sensitive and like a nice guy. And it didn't feel like a bullshit act.
Dez, you would have slept with him, I think.
I would have. Maybe on the first night.
Yeah, I think you would have rolled over.
See, this whole movie wouldn't have happened then. Me and Chris. All right, so the pencil. So she's spinning the pencil, and very cool. I mean, immediately I'm like, this is awesome. And I love when Neve Campbell kind of looks over and she's like, like she gives a little squeak, like before somebody else notices. Stop that.
Yeah.
And
also she had just been saying to the other girls that Almanac says that, something's coming, and she goes, maybe it's our fourth. And like within like, the next class, this happens. So she goes, oh my God, like it's true,
Yeah. I got the impression that these girls were playing witch, the three, and they hadn't really achieved anything. Like
I don't think they wanted to be playing. I think they were actually trying, but nothing was happening really.
But nothing was happening. Like they were like, did you feel the tingle? I think I felt the tingle. Like it was that type of thing. Mm-hmm. And then Neve Campbell sees this girl literally like using her mind to move a pencil. And she's like, okay, we got to get this is the bass player of the band. He can play. Like, let's get him. You know what I mean? And, there were a couple of things like, I wasn't sure why Nancy was so apprehensive on taking Sarah into the group.
I can tell you why.
Well, there were a couple of reasons. One was because she wanted the power, and she, so was she jealous because of Chris? Because so that was part of it.
Not even Chris. Jealous of the power. Jealous of how easy it comes to her. Jealous of the fact that she's got it without even trying. Jealous of the fact that she's got a nice house. I mean, the list goes on and on. And jealous that the other two girls are looking at her and being like, wow, she's amazing, instead of looking at Nancy and saying that.
Exactly. She's not the shit with Nancy around. I mean, with Sarah around. She still has power. She's still powerful, but she's not like necessarily the leader when Sarah's around.
Exactly.
See, I didn't get the impression that Nancy really had any power until Sarah started hanging around. I feel like they hadn't done anything that was extraordinary. Like
well, they kept claiming that the reason why it wasn't working was because there wasn't four of them to call the four corners. Now here's the thing: as a solitary witch, you don't need somebody to call the four corners. You can do it by yourself.
Sarah had been doing it. Sarah had been doing it all along. She says, several times, sometimes it goes awry. Sometimes I fuck things up when I do this. So she's been, making shit happen, presumably for years.
Yeah.
But I think with Nancy, when Sarah came along, Nancy realized that she wasn't necessarily the alpha anymore. So she's going to try to piss on everything she can to mark her territory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Including Chris, because she had a thing with Chris.
Right.
And Chris dumped her like he seems to do with everybody else.
Yep.
And whether she actually cared about it or not, I don't think she really cared about Chris one way or the other.
Oh, she totally did. She still got a wicked crush on him.
You think?
Definitely. Dude, she looks at him with the puppy eyes through the whole thing. At the football practice, she's, kidding with him. And she did not want to be dumped by Chris, and she still has a thing for him, as did Sarah, even after Chris is a good guy. I'm telling you, Chris is a decent guy. He's just a fucking stupid teenager football player. So you can't hold this kid to like this high standard. He's just a dumb jock. But I think he's got a good heart. And I think he gets fucking fucked in this movie.
Yeah.
Can I say something as a female? I don't think he's a good guy.
No. Well, I mean, he's not
guys like Chris.
All right. So we're not going to jump ahead, but he obviously there's a despicable act later in the movie. But at this point, they fucking like put the worm in his ear like in Star Trek. I mean, they've fucking possessed
We
this kid.
haven't gotten quite there yet, but
Okay. All right. And I do think once Nancy realizes that Sarah is her portal to getting real witch power, that's when she's like, okay, we can be best friends. We can be besties.
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
All right. So during lunch, Sarah is hit on by Chris, played by Skeet Ulrich, the school's football star.
He
She
has
asks,
a douche name. I'm sorry.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
Charming as fuck, too.
Sorry.
Keep going.
It's all good. She asks about Bonnie and her two friends, Nancy, played by Fairuza Balk, and Rochelle, played by Rachel True. Chris tells Sarah to stay away from the trio because they're witches. Bonnie tells Nancy and Rochelle that Sarah is the fourth who will complete their circle and make a full coven. The three girls each have their issues. Nancy lives in a trailer with her mom, Grace, played by Helen Shaver, and abusive stepfather, Ray. Bonnie has burn scars all over her back, and the painful treatment recommended by the surgeon is likely to fail. An insecure black athlete, Rochelle, is subjected to racist taunts by the most popular girl in school, Laura Lizzie, played by Christine Taylor. Mickey, did they ever say where Bonnie got those scars?
No, and I was just talking. It's funny because Tony and I were talking about that. I said, when blah, 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 what's her name? Nancy was, doing the magic over her back. I was like,
yeah.
They never really explain how she got the scars. Like, what happened to her? Was she born with them? Was she in a fire? Like, what happened? They never said that, and that's another thing that I wish that they had elaborated more on. Like, we don't get a lot of backstory on
any of the girls other than Sarah. Really?
I thought they did. Didn't they say it was a car accident or something? I could have swore they told us where those scars came from.
Maybe I missed it.
Yeah, I must have missed it too because I don't remember that at all.
It could be bullshit.
But yeah, I wish they had elaborated more. I mean, they could have done so much more with kind of shaping the characters.
Oh, big
more.
time. Big time.
So,
also, just because I just happened to mention Rochelle, I would like to mention that I was listening to her on a podcast one time, and she was talking about how they had like the craft reunion at like a convention, and they invited everybody but Rachel True. And it's like,
really?
She's the fourth. Like, what do you do? You have to invite Rachel True. And I guess like Fairuza Balk and the Neve and all of them were like, yeah, we're not coming unless you invite her. Like, that's ridiculous.
Why would they not invite her?
Because she's black.
No.
Like,
come on.
I mean, let's. What would the reasoning be?
I don't know, but that's really shitty. Who was they? First of all.
Yeah,
it was a convention. I'd have to look it up because it was like I said, I was listening to a podcast or something. And she was telling this story, and I was like, oh my God, but just that's not cool. She's part of the group, and not cool.
Yeah,
that's not cool at all.
So when she's talking to Chris, Sarah, and she says, these girls, some people have been rude to me here. And he's like, who's being rude to you? And she's like, these girls, and they're right over there. And they look over. So this shot we get of the three of them sitting there on the wall,
staring at them.
God. Right. Nancy looks so good. I'm like, oh, she's smoking the butt. And she's like, She's smoking a lot of cigarettes. Yeah, she's smoking a lot of butts in this. So let me ask you guys a question. How come some of the students have to wear the outfit and some of them don't, and some days they do, and some days they don't?
Tony asked the same thing. I don't know. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, I think it's almost kind of like one of those things, like as long as you're wearing 70% of the uniform or something, you get away with it or something. I don't know.
Because the boys are never wearing any of it.
Oh.
Yeah, no, the boys are never wearing any of it. So I don't understand. Yeah.
So you're going to put the girls in the little Catholic school girl short skirt, but you're not going to make the boys wear a uniform of any kind. Interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah. And Nancy is poor ass. Like she comes from nothing. Her parents have nothing. She doesn't have a job. She has fucking got a pricey ass bitchin' wardrobe for a broke ass teenager.
Well, this is also the 90s. You go to the thrift store, you can do pretty well for yourself.
Right.
No, not with no money.
Well, the garment district.
Mm.
I don't know. She's got no money. She's a
By
high
the
school
way,
kid.
I know where I'm jumping way ahead, but I loved her mom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you'll remember in the Wedding Singer episode where I was talking about Linda's shoes. So
Yeah.
Nancy is wearing the exact same shoes, but in black.
Ooh.
Yes, exact same shoes, but in black, and I love them. Great shoes, and we get the close up of them dragging on the floor later in the movie.
I love that scene.
Oh, it's so fucking good.
It's so good.
It's so good. Yeah, really good.
That's probably my favorite. The toes pick up and go across the carpet. It's like, oh, that's good.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong. I know Chris isn't a great guy. That's not what I'm saying.
Chris.
No, because I just want to really say this because it's going to be important during this movie. Chris is not a great guy, but in the pantheon of movies that we've seen where there's like a bad guy from high school, it's like he's not starting off like the ultra prick, like fucking the guy you just want to hate. Like he's very charming and he's very nice, but he's an immature, narcissistic jock.
Yeah, and not to mention that the unspeakable act of which we mentioned earlier is not brought on by his own.
No,
it's brought on because of what she does.
Yeah, she put the rape me spell. She put the rape me spell on him.
And it's like I'm not making an excuse for a sexual assault, but at the same time, when a love spell goes awry, those are the kind of things that can sometimes happen.
And it's like Lirio says, she goes, it's going to come back 3 times. So she said, I want you to fucking desire me. And he fucking desired her to the point of where she was going to pay for putting that spell on him in a malicious way.
Yeah.
So I was feeling kind of bad for Chris. I mean, this was just high school bullshit between kids. And,
and they took it to a place that he couldn't handle.
And then they fucking glamour raped him and murdered him.
God.
Poor Chris.
Okay. We've jumped way ahead.
All right, let's keep going.
Oh my God. After school, the 3 girls befriend Sarah and take her to the occult shop. Fiona, Lirio, played by Assumpta Serna, comments that Sarah is not like the other girls and says to her, maybe you're a natural witch. Your power comes from within. While leaving the shop, Sarah is harassed by a vagrant and all 4 girls simultaneously will for something to happen. The vagrant is then hit by a car before the girls run off. Nancy then tells Sarah about invoking the spirit Mena, which is their ultimate goal as a coven. So, Des, I'm thinking that if it's me, and I thought that my thought had made some poor mentally ill man get hit by a truck, I'd have to sit down and sort out my priorities. I'm sorry.
Not me. I'd make an outfit like a Spider-Man outfit. I'd be fucking a superhero. I don't know what the outfit would be, but I'd be an X-Man. So
I fucking love it. I'd make an outfit.
I'd be an X-Man.
Yeah. So we're gonna get the bum again. Same bum from the beginning of the movie.
And he's still holding a snake
again. Yeah, so this character is not at all flushed out. They're not giving us any information. What does the snake mean? What does the guy mean? Why did he dream about Sarah? Nothing. It's
is
not
it connected
explained.
to Menon? Like, is that how, like, in some weird...
No.
Well, you don't know that.
I do. They're not explaining anything. They're not telling us anything about this guy. It makes no sense. They need to tell us.
I agree that they needed to elaborate more on that, and I was disappointed. Again, it's another one where they just expect you to go, oh, look at this.
Oh, yeah, there's this homeless guy that's like, made it from the city down to fucking the valley with a snake, showed up at their house, and then they bump into each other by chance, and he's got a snake. He's like, oh, I dream about you. Oh, hey, come here. It's like, what does this fucking mean, and what does the snake mean? I don't know.
Okay.
Lirio the Good Witch, Melinda the Good Witch from the North. This character was underutilized in the worst way. Yeah. I wanted this fucking character. I wanted her in one of the battles. I wanted her with Sarah. I just wanted more of this character.
She was fantastic.
Yeah. And she's Obi-Wan.
Yeah. Oh,
she's Obi-Wan. And she just talks to her twice and that's it.
Yeah.
You know?
And the store is great. I want more of this store. I want to know what's behind that fucking curtain.
Oh, you saw what was behind the curtain.
No, I want shit going on behind the curtain. All right? I want shit. I want Irio's fucking, like, I want her to take Sarah back there and, I don't know, man, fucking something good. I just want more Lirio, you know?
Yeah, she was great. I wish again, another one that could have been fleshed out more. And the other thing that I didn't like, and I don't know, I'm torn on. Me now hates it. Me in 1996 was like, well, that's probably not the right thing to do, but like they're like, oh, 5-finger discount. It's like they go in there and for me, like, just stealing shit. You don't go into a shop like that and steal shit.
No,
Okay.
especially not a shop like that, because you are totally asking to get it back. Like, it's one thing when you're stealing from Target or whatever, but you go into a store like that and steal, you're asking for it.
Okay, so here's my thought with that, okay? So obviously Lirio, she can look at Sarah and say that ring belonged to your mother, okay? Lirio knew they were stealing. She was letting them steal because she saw these are 3 potential witches. She doesn't know if they're good or bad in the beginning, obviously. She hasn't flushed these girls out. She just knows they're coming into the store and they're interested in witchcraft. And I feel like she knows they're stealing because how could she not?
She does know because she
yeah.
said you're not like your friends.
Yes. So
she said, are you going to pay for that book? And she was like, yeah. And then she said, you're not like your friends. So she knows that they've been stealing.
Absolutely. She knows they've been stealing. And I think that I think she's making money off, you know, the local focals. And she sees these 3 girls that are interested in witchcraft. So she's allowing them to do this. You know, we're going to get the book, the death book later on. You know, we keep death book on the top shelf, you know. Fucking lock that shit up, man. What are you doing? Lock that shit up. You know, lock it up. You don't want that book for sale. It's a bad book.
Oh, God. There are no bad books, only bad people.
Exactly.
I don't know. The Book of the Dead and the Mummy. Don't read from the book in fucking Latin. Don't do it.
Clatu, veratu, nictu.
Necktie.
Don't read from the book.
Honey, have you ever seen that? What is that, Evil Dead?
Evil Dead.
Oh, I was quoting the Mummy, but
no, we're quoting Necktie is the Evil Dead, the one with what's his face?
Bruce Campbell.
Thank you. Have you seen them?
No, but
we might have to do them.
My credo in life, I mean, I live my life by this mantra: don't read from the book in Latin. I mean, it's served me up till now.
I think
you can't read in Latin.
I can't read in English.
I think Des had asked about Army of Darkness, and I said, yeah, but you have to watch the other 2 first.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, true. We gotta get you on that. I mean, they're classics.
Yeah. What was the other one when I wanted to do the whole trilogy? I was just saying it the other week.
I don't remember.
I don't either. All right.
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
All right. So Sarah leaves the girls to meet Chris, but refuses to have sex with him. At school the next day, Sarah discovers that Chris boasted to the whole school that they slept together and that she was the worst he's ever had. Nancy, Bonnie, and Rochelle comfort Sarah and invite her on a field trip. They take the bus out to the country. The bus driver tells them to be careful of weirdos, but Nancy replies, "We are the weirdos, mister." While in the countryside, they call the corners and cast some spells. Rochelle asks for the strength not to hate those who hate her. Sarah performs the love spell on Chris. Bonnie asks for beauty inside and out. And Nancy asks for all the power of Manon. And Mickey, be careful what you wish for, right?
Right there, you know you're a fucking idiot. Like, you can't do shit like that. Like, you can't. Like, here's the thing. You know, I'm not a gatekeeper. You know, I hate gatekeepers.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, and hopefully they proved it with this movie. Like, you don't, like, I love when, what's her name was like, I want to forgive those who hate me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I want to be beautiful outside as well as in. Like, those were nice, relatively easy, decent things to want to manifest.
Mm-hmm.
When you say, I want all the fucking power in the world, like, you know, right there, maybe you need some therapy, and maybe we should maybe we should break the circle and get the fuck out of here. Like,
Yeah.
you know what
Well,
I mean? Like,
So like later at some point when things start happening for the girls and they're all thrilled about it, Nancy is upset. And I'm jumping ahead because I do write this out later, but she gets upset. And Rochelle has this line where she says she's upset because her spell's not working. And,
Yep.
at first you go, well, yeah, she doesn't have all the power of Manon because that's ridiculous. Nobody's going to have all that. And then Rochelle says she wished to not be white trash or something. And it's
Right.
like,
Right.
oh, so when she asks for all the power of Manon, it's because she's embarrassed to ask for what she really wants,
right.
which is to not be white trash, to have a little bit of money, to have the ability to crawl out of the trailer park. And I totally get it. That would be embarrassing and a total bummer. But it's like, if these are your sisters and this is your coven, you should be able to say what you need to actually say without doing that, because you're opening the door to something that's very powerful and not being mindful of that,
Well,
Right.
and so right there, you already know that Nancy's full of shit, because what they were saying in part of the circle was you enter the circle with perfect love and perfect trust.
Right.
That means being able to trust your coven members with anything that you say, anything that you feel, and you know that they're going to, keep it in the circle and not judge you.
Right. And also, like, do you think about how difficult it must be for Bonnie to talk about her scars and to be, vulnerable about that,
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you also got to keep in mind these are all high school kids, and I'm gonna
Yes.
try
Agreed.
and watch them all the same. Like with Chris, these girls are the same too. I mean, you think about back when you were in high school. What would I have wished for?
Oh my God, the stupidest shit ever.
Fucking have I want to fucking rule the world.
I wanted
wanna
to marry.
fly.
I would have wished to marry John Taylor.
Oh
I
my
wish I was
God.
one of the Beatles. I mean, I don't know, but yeah,
Yeah. Seriously though, no, it's totally true. When you're young, you don't understand consequences. You don't.
yeah.
You don't understand them.
Bonnie and Rochelle,
Yes.
these are good kids, and they're not really wishing. I mean, yeah, all right. So,
Well,
fucking
no. Before you jump ahead, right? So, very importantly, Rochelle asks to not hate those who torment her. But then when Sarah braids the hair into her hair,
yeah,
and she says what's going to happen to her, and she said if she leaves you alone, nothing. So
right.
nothing would have happened to her. It was because she continued it.
Yes.
It was backfire.
Exactly. So Bonnie was relatively good, and when she realized what was happening, she felt bad about it. And Rochelle and Bonnie literally never did anything bad throughout this movie. She just wanted to have some self-confidence and feel pretty. It's fine. And yeah, she got a little narcissistic, but I mean, who cares? She's been a monster in her own mind this whole time. So she feels good and fucking fine.
Right.
Fine.
Right.
That's a nice glamour wish, right? Or spell.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, and here's the thing is like, I think that Sarah's is terrible. I think love spells are always a bad idea. They always backfire. They never work out the way you want them to. And so bad idea. Like this was trouble from word one.
That's right. Look what happened with us. Life of torment.
For someone that was for someone that's so smart and like compared to the other three so grounded, that was a really like
an odd
Bush
choice
League move. Like
it didn't make any sense.
She's in high school, so
yeah, and it's an odd choice.
And why do you want this douche to like you so much? Like
because he's a nice guy.
Stop trying to sell me on that.
He's a good-looking, charming, nice kid.
You're not going to make fetch happen. Knock it off.
He made a mistake. He's just a kid, high school kid. He made a mistake.
True.
She knows there's a nice heart in there. She still wants Chris. She wants to give this kid another chance.
Yeah, I guess. All right.
But I will say, Mirio is when she finds out about the spell, she is disappointed that Sarah did it, and basically tells her, "You can't undo it. You're fucked."
Yeah.
You gotta let it run its course.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's it.
And unfortunately it did, and badly. Anyways, shortly after the spells are cast, they show signs of working. Chris becomes infatuated with Sarah. Bonnie's scars miraculously heal, and the next time Laura bullies Rochelle, Laura's hair begins to fall out. The girls are all happy with the results they're getting so far, except for Nancy, whose spell was to not be poor anymore, until one night when Ray attacks her mother and she screams, causing the microwave and all the light bulbs to explode, and Ray suffers a massive heart attack and dies. Then Nancy and her mother are told by the insurance man that they have inherited $175,000 from an insurance policy. Nancy and her mother move into a posh high-rise where the girls meet one night and learn how to throw glamours. For a movie about 4 teenage girls, the body count is starting to rise. But I thought the glamour scene was pretty cool. I always enjoy that. I mean, you can kind of see the 1996 of it all in the CGI, but that's okay. I enjoy it.
I also love the fact that, well, first off, I love the Connie Francis jukebox.
Yeah.
And I loved that they really kind of honed in because, like, I don't know. I remember, being younger and not necessarily in high school, but younger and like going to like slumber parties and doing things like light as a feather, stiff as a board. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? And, you do your little, I don't even know what those things are called, where you make the paper things and you move them with your fingers and you write things on
the
them.
fortune tellers, the paper fortune tellers. Yeah.
That's like, the middle school version of a tarot card. Do you know what I
Absolutely.
mean?
Absolutely.
But I love that they did that because I thought that scene was fun and it actually showed them like aside from the magic, it showed them acting like teenage girls,
like kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I think most boys imagine girls' sleepovers are like you guys are all in your underwear tickling each other and stuff.
Yeah, it's not like that at all.
I'm joking.
There's a lot of light as a feather, stiff as a board. There might be some truth or dare, stuff like that usually is what happens.
Yeah,
or at least when I was
game.
a kid, that's what it was like.
Yep. I never game.
So when I was watching this, I was thinking, man, I'm like, $175,000, man. I'm like, that's not a lot, like a Mustang and jukeboxes and a penthouse in the sky.
Right.
But
1996.
But I did it. That's actually about $350,000 in today's money. So, yeah, seems about right.
Decent.
Yeah,
and I mean, they're only renting that apartment. It's not like they bought it. So
right. Yeah, so I'm okay with it. But yeah, it was good. I liked the heart attack. I thought that was great. I loved when the insurance guy says, we're getting that money, and they're like, they're fucking cheering and smiling, and I thought that was great. Fuck that guy. That guy was a total con.
He totally was a total loser. I'm not trying to say he deserved it, but he deserved it.
He did.
He deserved it. He was probably being awful to Nancy, being awful to Nancy's mom. Good riddance, Ray. Sorry.
So I made an observation about Laura. So Laura's hair is falling out. This is the least of her troubles, okay? Because in the shower scene where she is laying down or sitting down, clutching her knees, crying, and the hair is everywhere, I gotta look at her feet, okay? This is the problem. This girl has hooves, okay?
That's Ben Stiller's wife you're talking about. Be careful.
Well, Ben Stiller's wife has jacked up feet, okay? The balding head, not the problem. The feet, the problem. Take a look next time at that scene. You'll be like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
I have to go back now and check it out.
Yeah. Take a look at those toes. Whoa. Yeah. Shink in the armor. Okay.
Oh, I mean, just out of curiosity, there is something called Wiki Feet where you can look at anyone's feet.
How do you know this?
Because I just happened to type in Christine Taylor's feet. Because I typed in Christine Taylor's feet, and the first thing that came up was Wiki Feet.
Yeah, and they're jacked, right?
I mean, they could be worse. They're not that bad. She definitely has interesting feet.
They are gross.
I have to Google Christine Taylor's feet now.
See, I just had to. I had to know.
Or Christine Taylor.
I mean, woman's
Taylor's
doing okay
feet.
for herself. She's doing fine.
Let's see. Images. Christine Taylor's feet. Yeah, what you really need to see is the scene when she's sitting in the shower. It tells the tale. Okay, let's move on.
Oh, my goodness. All right, so the girls go to Lirio's shop again, where Nancy finds a book about invoking the spirit. Later that night, the girls go to the beach and form a circle calling on Manon. At the culmination of the spell, Nancy is struck by lightning. The next day, the girls witness Nancy walking on water, claiming that Manon is inside her and she can feel him in her veins. On the other side of the beach, a dozen sharks have beached themselves, and Nancy seems overjoyed at the display. Later, Rochelle sees a balding Laura in the locker room, hysterically sobbing after swim practice, surrounded by her shed hair. Rochelle feels remorse for the spell she has cast, and when she looks in the mirror at herself, her reflection actually looks away, which I thought was kind of a cool little thing. Sarah's love spell also backfires on her. She finally accepts to have a date with Chris, but he takes her to the top of a hill and attempts to sexually assault her. Sarah runs away and makes it to Rochelle's house. Nancy and Bonnie come over, and when Nancy hears about what happened, she goes looking for Chris at a house party. She tries to seduce Chris by disguising herself as Sarah, but when the real Sarah arrives, Nancy causes Chris to fall out a third-story window, killing him. Not jumping over Chris's death, but Mickey, I don't know about you, but if I did a ritual on the beach one night and in the morning a bunch of sharks were dead on the beach, I'd think I had done something very, very wrong. I wouldn't have been overjoyed by the display.
Yeah, I wouldn't be talking about presents and that it was all for me. I mean,
she just sounded like a lunatic.
Yeah, and I think that's when you realize, like, she really does not have her shit together. Like, if I think especially Sarah, like, if she had any doubt before that of Nancy's kind of mental state, I think that was the moment she's like, "What did I get myself into?" You know what I mean? Like, that's not cool. You know, like that. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, like, the thing is like if Manon is supposed to be everything, you know, he's in every grain of sand. He's in the, like, why would you kill a bunch of people for Nancy, or a bunch of sharks for Nancy? Like, that doesn't actually make sense.
Right.
Yeah, it's not explained. It's just another bum holding a snake. It's like, what?
Right, exactly.
That cave that they're in, I think that's the same cave from The Usual Suspects. When
I don't know.
Burying their buddy. It looked very familiar to me. I thought it was cool. I thought the night scene was cool. You know, I didn't like when the camera was spinning around. It made me motion sick. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was all right. I liked it. I thought Nancy. Go ahead.
I'm so sorry. I forgot that, what's his name, died.
Who?
Chris.
Oh. Yeah,
you forgot that he had died?
I did. I had forgot that part. And then I was like, oh, shit. I remember him going out the window, and I don't know why I thought that he was, like, he got.
That's because in this small California town, or wherever the fuck they are, teenage super football star can fall out, be pushed out the window at a party, and no one's asking any questions. There's no cops. School isn't suspended. None of the kids are upset. No one's wearing the Chris fucking T-shirt. You know,
no, that's a good point.
But just so you know, it's not a small California town; it's LA.
All right. Well, he's a very popular student. I'm sure this would have come up again.
I'm sure.
Yeah, no, I agree, and you're right. I didn't even think about the fact that no one was really talking about it except for the four of them.
Yeah, they were just like, "Yeah, fuck him, man. We made him crazy with our magic."
He was a douche, but.
Oh, I mean, I'm thinking these girls are the douches. These are fucking bad kids. They're doing bad things.
We've got 3 deaths now.
Yeah, we're doing bad things here. And Sarah's the one that's really piping all the magic into this thing. Nancy is insane. You know, she's changing red lights green. The other two are just like, she's like, shut up. They're like, hey, yeah, shut up. Like in the car. I'm like, what?
Yeah, well, I think it was a little power drunk at that point.
Yeah.
You know, that in that scene specifically, like, it's like, you know, you start getting what you want. You start feeling like you get a little power. You get a little cuckoo.
Right.
Now, I usually have no patience for overacting in a movie, but I want to say, I thought Fairuza was fucking great in this movie. I really loved it. I feel without her in this movie, just her looks, her visual, looking the way she did, and her acting performance, this movie is flat. This movie's flat because there's no character building, specifically with the boys and with Lirio. There's only really 4 characters in the movie. I mean, if you want to count Laura, she's got like, 6 lines in the movie.
And
I mean, they it's such a cheap move using she says negroid, and it's fucking horrible. Yeah, that's a terrible thing to say.
Right.
But it's like there's no character building. It's like you're just making me hate her because she's saying
Because
this
she's a
racist
bully. Right.
because she's a bully and she's saying this racist thing. It's like I want to see a little bullying. I want to give me some character building. Make me hate this girl. Make me hate Chris. I don't hate these people because they just don't have enough exposition.
Yeah. Also, like, hey, Rochelle and Laura were best friends when they were kids, and now that they're older and rivals on the swim team, now she says all these horrible things about her. Like, give me, like, you literally could say that in 20 seconds, and it gives you a little bit more.
Like you could do like the classic, oh, we were friends when we were younger, and then one of them got popular and one didn't, and there's envy or whatever. You know what I mean? Something.
Yeah. And out of all the bullies, there's really only two bullies. You got Chris and Laura. I mean, Laura's the one, in my opinion, that's really despicable because she's fucking racist in 1996. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? That's
people are still racist today. So
I know, but Rochelle is very pretty. She reminds me of, in Clueless. She reminds me of
Dion.
Like, I feel like Rochelle would be super popular in school, and I'm just not buying this. It's not good. It's not good writing.
Right.
It's not good writing. It's cheap. It's an easy way to get around building the character of Rochelle by just saying she's racist, so hate her.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. All right. I do. I'm fine with it.
Being racist is enough reason for me to hate somebody,
or to
at least dislike them greatly.
Of course it is.
They definitely could have fleshed it out just a tiny bit more.
Yeah, it's just it's weak. It's weak storytelling and it's weak writing. You're not giving me a character here. You're just whatever.
Well, I think that actually is the chink in the armor of this movie, because that's like, I really enjoy this movie. I have a ton of fun watching it. But even the girls, I'd like a little bit more exposition about
everything,
both Rochelle and Bonnie's pasts. Like, don't make them 2-dimensional. Make them 3-dimensional. Right. Give me a little bit more.
Yeah. But it's funny because even though, all right, so the story is good. I like the story. I like the story a lot. I like the idea of the story. The way it's told is not the craft. Okay. We're not getting the craft of writing here. It's pretty weak writing. Mm-hmm. And there's no character arcs. There's no, but for lacking all of that, it was very fucking entertaining.
Oh yeah. Popcorn. It's a popcorn movie.
I said to you, it's a light snack. It's a light snack, and I enjoyed it very much.
Right. So Sarah starts having nightmares of the coven attacking her. She feels like they're following her everywhere just to torment her. She tries to stop Nancy, who has become the leader of the 3 remaining coven of witches, by binding her power so that she won't be able to hurt herself or others. But this does not work, and the 3 other girls now hate Sarah. They threaten to kill her. Needing help, Sarah goes to Lirio, who tells her to invoke the spirit herself. That way she'll have a little backup, Lirio also reveals that Sarah's mother was a powerful witch and that her talent has passed on to Sarah. Sarah starts to invoke Manon, but she has a vision of fire and the shop exploding, so she leaves the shop absolutely terrified. And, Des, it's at this point, Sarah needs to fight fire with fire, but she's just not ready. Like, she can't commit.
Did we watch the same version of this? I missed that whole fire scene and all that.
How did you miss that?
I watched it twice. I have no idea.
That's why I said to you, she does see what's behind the thing, because when she goes back to the store to Lirio, she says, I need help. Lirio then takes her behind the curtain, and there's like a pentagram, pentacle on the floor. And she says, this is a place of power. We're going to invoke the spirit. We're going to, you need to be stronger. You need to be able to deal with this. And she has a vision of the store exploding, essentially. And she's convinced that Nancy sent that vision to her. So she runs because she doesn't want Lirio to get hurt.
Did you miss that whole scene, Des?
I guess I did both times. That's weird.
That is odd.
I want to say this. So when they do the original spell, when they drink the wine with the blood, I noticed that Sarah brought the picture of her mother. I thought that was weird.
I suppose maybe, but I think that she felt close to her in a lot of ways.
So this was another missed opportunity. So now we're going to find out that Sarah's mother was a powerful witch, because Lirio just sees it, I guess. I wish that had been written more into this story. I wish we had gotten more of that. And I wish we had gotten more of, like, I don't know, maybe Lirio knew Sarah's mother. I mean, just fucking anything. Give me more.
Yeah.
Give me more.
Oh, yeah. Your mother was so-and-so, and she was a powerful witch. I knew her when she was younger.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Again, 20 seconds to say something that makes sense. You know?
Yeah. I baptized you. I don't fucking know.
Or just, I knew her before she moved to San Francisco.
Right.
She was a powerful witch then, and she's obviously passed it on to you. I recognize that ring, you know?
We find out they were in a coven. I don't know. Yeah. There was so much more they could have done.
Agreed.
Okay.
Sorry, sneezing.
Okay.
Here, I'm back. Okay. So Sarah returns to an empty home where her former coven torments her using magical tricks and hallucinations. First, they make her believe her father and stepmom have died in a plane crash. Then, all kinds of snakes, insects, and vermin appear everywhere. Eventually, the tricks stop, and Sarah finds the 3 girls in her living room, where Nancy presses her into committing suicide. Nancy slashes at Sarah's wrists before Sarah runs up to her room. Nancy, Bonnie, and Rochelle wait for her to die, though Rochelle seems to think that things have gotten out of hand. Do you think? Did it have to go to this to get out of hand? But okay. Nancy threatens her too before telling her to go upstairs and check on Sarah. Bonnie decides to go with Rochelle. Sarah is laying on the ground, weak and bleeding, but is about to invoke Manon when her mother calls to her from a photo. Sarah successfully invokes Manon and heals her wrists before casting a spell for the girls to see what they've become. In the mirror, Bonnie's face is horribly scarred and Rochelle's hair is falling out. Terrified, Bonnie and Rochelle flee. And gotta be honest with you, Mickey, I kind of love it when people get what's coming to them because, they needed a reminder of what they were up to was not cool.
Agreed. And that scene was amazing because you fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
So I kind of wish that this showdown had just been Nancy versus Sarah. I feel like Bonnie and Rochelle, I wish they had let those character arcs go. And I wish that they had said to Nancy at some point, you're fucking off the rails. This isn't what we wanted. Bonnie basically is feeling remorse for Laura. And Rochelle is feeling remorse for Laura. And Bonnie, again, she never did anything to anybody. She was fine. So I didn't really like watching them turn into bad witches and follow Nancy down this trail. It just didn't need to be there. I didn't think they deserved to see themselves bad in the mirror and stuff. I think they could have just taken their 2 little blessings, their 2 little things and gone on. And then Nancy could have had the showdown with Sarah and we could have, moved on from there. I don't know.
Well, the thing is like neither Bonnie nor Rochelle were stepping in to stop Nancy.
Right.
And Nancy was misusing what she had been given.
Yeah, she was 10 times more powerful than these 2. These 2 had no power, nothing. They were, and not only that, they were almost like puppets because you see in the car, they're almost acting like Chris now, where, she's telling them to shut up, get in line, you're fucking idiots, like, yes, master, it's like.
Yeah, well, because Nancy's got all the power of Manon. So, so they're trying to ingratiate themselves, but at the same time, they're thinking, okay, this is where the power's coming from. These things are working for me. I better shut up, you know, and listen to what Nancy's telling me.
Yeah. And honestly, they were Nancy's puppets. But part of the problem is they also, they liked that power that they had. They liked what they were able to do, and they went with it, and they didn't think about the consequences. They didn't think about what would happen to anybody. And they just did it anyway. So I think that's a good lesson. And I can't believe I'm saying that, but that's a good lesson.
No, but it's true because think about it. Yes, Des is right. Bonnie didn't quote unquote do anything wrong. Right. She asked to be pretty and she got her scars off. Okay, great. But you know what? You're still complicit in all of this. You're complicit in Chris's death. You're complicit in Ray's death. You're complicit in the crazy man getting run by a truck. Yeah. You're complicit.
Because you're not actively saying, I disagree. You're not actively saying this is wrong. You're not actively doing anything to stop your insane fucking friend from hurting people and murdering a kid.
Mhm.
Just because you wanted a little bit of power.
Yeah.
Right. No, true. No, I agree with all of that. I mean, what are we thinking about Sarah at this point in the movie? I mean, is she a good guy?
Half and half. I mean,
Yeah.
I think she started off on the same road as them, and instead of continuing on it, she decided this isn't right, and she backed off.
Right.
All right, let's do top 4 bad witches, okay? Going from the most wicked witch to the nicest one. Okay, I'll give you my top 4. Nancy's the worst, Sarah's second, Bonnie, Rochelle is third, and Bonnie is fourth. And I'm kind of mixed between those two. I mean, they could be A and B.
No, I think that's about right.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do. I think, Nancy is the worst because she what did the lady, the store owner, I forget her name.
Lirio.
What did she say? There is no black or white. There's only what you do with it.
Correct.
And
Mhm.
it depends on the person. And I wholeheartedly believe that.
Yeah, doesn't she say something like there's a lot of darkness in her or something like that, talking about Nancy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so you just have to, I think honestly, do the right fucking thing. Like, and I think that's what Rochelle and Bonnie didn't do.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I feel a lot of empathy coming from Rochelle, though. I felt like she was just a good kid. You know, she should have just been on the diving team and been like, fuck this.
Well, I think
Right.
Rochelle was the first one to kind of be like, oh
Mhm.
shit. You know,
Right.
like her
Totally.
looking at Laura in the shower and being like, how do this sucks. And like Laura comes up to her in that party and is like,
Yeah.
hi, I'm sorry. Like,
Too
How's it
late.
going?
I mean, yes, it's too late. Obviously, she's wearing a wig. It's too
Yeah. Too late.
But still,
Right.
like, I gotta be honest with you, like, you take her crowning glory is this gorgeous blonde hair and it falls out, and now she's taught a little humility. And it's like, you know what? Like, don't be a racist douche.
Yeah.
Like, just don't.
Right.
Yeah. Now she's got to wear a wig and Crocs.
A wig and Crocs. No. Oh no.
Oh, shit.
Ay, ay, ay.
And
So,
honestly, too, like going back to like being complicit and
mhm.
excuse me, I've definitely mellowed out a lot as I've gotten older.
Sure.
I used to be very and it's funny because when this came out, I remember thinking like, oh my God, I love all these girls. They're not necessarily the smartest, making the smartest choices, but and I was torn when the movie came out, and I'm still torn like when they did the reboot or whatever they did, the sequel or whatever they did, because again, there's part of me that likes the fact that it's getting exposure, but at the same time, you have like all your little TikTok witches and stuff that just see that shit and they either take it too far or they, and again, I'm not a gatekeeper, but I
Well,
just feel like
do a little work and do a little research before you do stuff is pretty
right,
much,
exactly. And but like where was I just know where I was going with this. But like watching this now, like again, when I was younger, I used to be a lot more I don't
like
know what the word
fire
is.
and brimstone.
No, I just used to be very confrontational when I was younger.
Okay.
Not that I'm not confrontational now, but I'm much more tactful about it now.
We heard the story about you beeping at that lady, so
Yeah, we know the truth.
But here's the thing: I don't like confrontation, but I will not back down from it. I guess that's where I am now.
I'm the same way.
Where before I'd be like, I'd just instigate shit. You know what I mean? So like, I feel like that's where these girls are now. They're not seasoned or schooled enough yet where they make smarter choices.
right. And again, teenagers. So
That comes with growing up. How many
Yes.
bad choices did you make in the day where if you could go back and say, hey, I could fucking do that?
Jesus
a
God.
billion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was saying to Delin, man, if I could go back and talk to my younger self, I would be like, make money now and save it while you're young and strong. Because when
Yes.
you are not going to have the gusto to do it when you're old, you dummy.
Yep.
Oh, shit.
Well, Such is life, I guess, right?
So quickly, so this last battle here, basically between Nancy and Sarah, there's some really cool stuff here. I like all these glamour spells, where she disappears. You see just her clothes,
Yeah.
and they're projecting these images on each other, which is really cool. And then the final one when she's in the mirror, I love that. I thought that was great.
Yeah, that was cool.
She comes out of the mirror, and she's finally going to get the best of Nancy.
Well, I like that she turns the tables on her because she's been terrified this entire time. And finally, she takes a little power into herself and she's like, hey, he's got a message for you. He's pissed at you and blah, blah, blah. But like gets the jump scare on her, like the whole nine yards. She because Nancy's tone goes from Sarah to Sarah because she knows that something's changed.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought it was a great final battle. And again, Fairuza was just great in this. She brought it the whole movie. I loved it. I was saying to Dylan, she would have been such a great Harley Quinn, if they had done it back in that age. It was just like, she's so good.
Yeah.
I do think, like I said before, I think there was a little bit of overacting there, but I think that's what you needed for Nancy.
Yes.
Also, this is a movie that was directed towards girls like us in 1996.
Right.
And that's what everything was overreaction and it's geared towards teenage girls and early 20s girls. Watching it as, an older lady at these points, it's like, oh God, that's a little excited. Could you calm down a little?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Like tone it down a little bit, sister. But even she was amazing in American History X.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. She was fucking awesome in that with, what's his name?
Edward Norton.
Edward Norton, man. That was a really good movie.
It's a tough watch.
It is a tough watch.
Yeah. It's a very tough watch.
Curb stomps the guy. Oh shit.
But it's funny because we were just watching it and Tony had never seen it. It's not really his wheelhouse either,
right.
But he said it would have been really cool if, when they have that battle and Nancy realizes, Sarah really is there, and Sarah kicks her into the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Tony said it would have been a cool effect, if instead of how it actually ended, if she actually got stuck in the mirror.
Yeah, that would have been great. That was how they. That's how they exorcised the spirits in Constantine.
Oh yeah, demons.
Right.
Yeah,
the demons. So that would have been cool. Maybe we could have seen her with Monarch, with his arms around her in the mirror, dragging her back somewhere, and then we lose her.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, mirrors are very powerful. So yeah,
yeah, I'm with Tony on that. I think we have an alternate
I like that
ending.
idea. Yeah, I mean, I do like the ending, but I think that's really cool too.
Yeah.
She could be catatonic in like the hospital bed, but you could look in the mirror and see her being like dragged away in the mirror, you know?
But yeah, it needed more. There was so much opportunity for them to just, to put some meat on the bones of this movie. This movie had great bones. It just didn't have any meat.
Right. So let me wrap this up real quick.
Go ahead.
So Nancy and Sarah have their showdown. Manon is not happy with the way Nancy has used the power he gave her and seems to favor Sarah now. Sarah binds Nancy from doing harm to herself or others. In the end, Nancy's been sent to a psychiatric hospital, and Bonnie and Rochelle lose any powers that they had. They go to see Sarah, partly to see if she still had any power, and partly because they want to apologize, even though the apology is pretty thin. They claim that what they had done was just a joke, which not a joke. The two girls ask Sarah if she still has any powers, and when she shows no interest in continuing a friendship with them, they make fun of her as they leave, saying she probably doesn't have any powers anyways. On hearing this, Sarah makes a bolt of lightning strike a tree branch, falling, nearly crushing the two girls, revealing that she still has her powers as they stare back at her in shock. Sarah warns them, be careful, you don't want to end up like Nancy, and just smiles at them. The scene cuts to a bird's eye view of Nancy's room in a psychiatric hospital. She is screaming like a maniac, telling the nurse, he gave me powers, I can fly, I'm flying, I'm flying.
Okay, so this is the Karate Kid, okay? Everybody's like, Daniel, he's so good. He's so nice. He shows up to town. He fucking starts a fight with Johnny on the beach, steals his girlfriend, dumps water on his head. Fucking Mr. Miyagi kicks all these kids' asses. Daniel's a fucking punk. Comes to town, starts a bunch of fucking shit. Okay? So once again, we've got these 3 girls. Yeah, they're witches, but they're not fucking killing people. They're not, they're having fun. They're having sleepovers, light as a feather, stiff as a board. Fucking Sarah comes to town with her fucking magical powers and people start dying. People start getting fucking strapped down to beds in mental hospitals. Yeah. Shit, this chick was a fucking wrecking ball in LA. She came to town, homeless people are dying. Yeah. Fucking, I think we need to look at this.
But you also have to understand, she didn't ask for any of that.
No, they approached her, not the other way around.
All right, so guys selling crack to your kid. Well, they were asking for it.
No.
Yeah, they wanted the crack. He just sold it to them, but they wanted it. And then, so these girls are all wrecked. Their lives are all destroyed. The town is in ruins. Chris is gone, dead. And Sarah's going to reveal that she is now Storm from the X-Men, stronger than ever. And if you fuck with me, I'll fucking kill both of you. Oh, what a great person. She's awesome. Big character arc there.
I mean, honestly, like Sarah does kind of look like an asshole at the end there.
She does, yeah. That
She's
was
a bad witch.
Kind of a douche move to,
almost crush them to death. Like she could have proven her point by like putting her hand out and it having like a snake in it, wrap around her wrist or something, and they would have been like, "Ooh," it would have been enough.
I would have liked to have seen what's her name? Leno?
Lirio.
I would have liked to have seen Lirio at the end of the movie say to Sarah, I'm going to do this spell. It's going to take these powers away. You're not mature enough to have this. You're fucking up. Like you fucked up the whole fucking town. You killed like 5 people.
She didn't kill 5 people.
She did though. Without her, no one dies. Without her, the other 3 girls are just, oh, I think I felt a tingle. Do you think something happened? Maybe. I mean, no. This girl comes to town and fucking she brings hell with her.
Oh boy.
All right. So final thoughts, Mickey?
Again, I like nostalgic. I love the music.
Oh yeah.
I think that was cast well.
Yeah.
Again, I think, Nancy was overacted, but she needs to be because of the character, the way that the character, needs to be, because she's fucking insane. I think if you had someone else playing Nancy, it wouldn't have gone as well. Like she was Nancy. She was perfect for that role. I wish they had given more, again, more kind of background or a little bit more guts to, what does it matter that the roof was leaking in the house? Why was there a homeless man in the house? Why did Bonnie have all the scars? Why was, what's her name, such a bitch to Rochelle? Like,
right.
Do you know what I mean? Like they gave you like little, like they threw little fish flakes in the water, but they didn't really give you anything.
Nothing.
Right. But again, soundtrack was great. I thought for its time, I thought it was done well.
Yeah.
I guess is what I want to say. And then there's that little, I think they tried to show you, or to show people like what happens when you aren't responsible with what you're doing, because there is something out there that is greater than you or me or whatever. And I don't know what you call it. I don't know what whoever calls it, whatever.
Fucking universe, man.
Right. But you don't, again, fuck around and find out, basically.
Yeah. I mean, if there's one thing we learned from Tobey Maguire, with great power comes great responsibility. Okay?
R.I.P. Stanley.
All right. So let's do it. Let's give our rewatches scores. Mickey, you go first. What's your rewatch score on The Craft?
My rewatch score is probably going to be a 3.
A 3. Delyn, what is your rewatch score on The Craft?
So I agree with a lot of what Mickey was saying, like that in 1996, this was like, mwah, like chef's kiss. I loved it. I was like, yes, this is everything I'm about. Watching it now, it's like, ooh, it's a little cringy here and there. And definitely you see the chinks in the armor where the story is just really thin, unfortunately. But there's a lot to like here. I still really enjoyed watching it. And I'd watch it again. So I'm going to give it a 4.
A 4. And so for me, this movie, I think we've highlighted all the weaknesses it had, but it didn't matter. Fucking Fairuza Balk was great. The story was great. Whatever. The story was great. It was a fun ride. Like I said, it was a light snack. I enjoyed it. I watched it twice easily. I was entertained both times. I didn't think I was going to like the movie at all, and I did. And I would probably even watch it again. So I'm going to come in right between you guys with a 3.5. I was very surprised at how entertaining this movie was. So, and without Nancy being played by Fairuza, I don't think this movie even gets to like a 2.5 for me. Like if you did put in Alicia Silverstone there, this is like a 2. So
what? She was supposed to play Nancy?
No,
Sarah. But I'm saying anybody else. You take Fairuza Balk out of this and fucking
you're gonna get a cease and desist letter from Fairuza Balk, I swear.
Fairuza Balk, you know what I'm saying? It's one of those things. So anyway, all right. So we got a 4 from Delyn, a 3.5 from me, and a 3 from Mickey. So I think we're gonna give this movie a 3.75. It's a fucking good movie. If you haven't seen The Craft, what are you waiting for? Go see it. It's a great fucking movie. Delyn, tell the listeners where they can find us, because this is important. I really want to try and we're spending money out of our tiny little paychecks every week to make this show better for you. And I think we're doing a good job, and we need to start like building up the fucking juice. So tell them where they can find us. I want people to like the show, give us a 5-star rating if you like the show, and subscribe to the show because it helps the show grow. Share it with your friends, share it wherever you are on social media. Let's try to get the word out. So tell them.
So we have a Gmail. It is, hey, did you ever see that movie at gmail.com? You can feel free to drop requests. You can feel free to just drop a comment, something you like, something you hate. Do you like the new Disaster Piece Theater? We'd love to hear from you. You let us know. We are also on Facebook. Hey, did you ever see that movie? We are also on Instagram. Hey, did you ever see that movie? We're on Twitter. Hey, did you see that movie? Ever see that movie? We're pretty much anywhere. If you Google for us, you're going to find us. We don't have a website yet, but eventually we'll get there.
Yeah, it's kind of archaic.
Yeah. Honestly, at this point, between having a mail address and having an Instagram, we're doing pretty good. So
yeah, we're good. All right. As always, I love watching movies from different sides of the house and then reviewing them with you. Mickey, once again, you've brought the magic. I loved it. We will be back next week where we will be reviewing Dumb and Dumber. And believe it or not, Pat's never seen Dumb or Dumber, just like he had never seen Dodgeball, because this man was not, I don't know if he's been living on this planet with us all. I don't know. I don't know what he does in his spare time, but he's not watching funny movies. So we'll be doing Dumb and Dumber. I think we got to pick something to do with Mickey next time. And we were going to do the Warriors with Tony next, but it turns out that I actually have never seen fucking the China movie. What's it called?
Big Trouble in Little China.
Okay. So I thought I had seen this. I was sure I had seen this. And then Delyn played me the trailer today. And I'm like, I fucking never saw this movie. It looked like Mortal Kombat to me. I mean, you got Raiden, you got fucking the ice guy, you got Ryu. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. So we'll figure it out. We'll get it all mapped out for you guys. But next week, Dumb and Dumber with the dumbest guy I know, Pat, aside from myself. So it should be fun. We'll be Dumb and Dumber for you guys.
It's literally just, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy there.
Okay. All right. So that's it then. Until next time, I just have one question for you guys out there. Hey, did you ever see that movie? See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
You can keep your colon to yourself, sir.
Okay.